Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Jen. Thank you so much for supporting and joining us tonight. Tonight is a very special episode. I have Miss Tara here with me, and she's absolutely so beautiful. She's wonderful. I love her story, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. But before we get started, let's get some things out of the way. Of course, this is Let's Talk Jen. It is a revamped show, and I'm excited about what this year is going to bring. If you would love to be on the show, please reach out to Divine Appointment Marketing and Consulting Firm. They are absolutely amazing, and they will get you where you need to be. Also, if you want to be a sponsor, we have sponsors packages. We have sponsor spots here on the show where you can spotlight your business, your event, whatever it is that you have going on. You want people to know about it. I do have a spot for you. So again, make sure you reach out to Divine Appointment Marketing and Consulting Firm, and they'll get you right. All right, so now that we gotten that all out of the way, let's get to the nitty gritty, shall we? I'm excited about this story. So Miss Tara, please let everybody know who you are and where you are from.
I am Tara. I am a mother of three, 2 7-year-olds and a son who just turned 21. And I am from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, I love it. Listen, Charlotte, North Carolina. I love it. I have actually one of from North Carolina. So that's awesome. I love that. So, all right, Tara, let's get into this. So tell us a little bit about what life was like as the young Tara.
Life was, oh goodness, difficult. I became a mom to my son in my 20s. His dad was abusive, dealt with a drug addiction. I would pray that God would change him. And if anybody knows anything about addiction, they know that it's very difficult. Stayed with him for 13, 14 years. But God released me from that marriage. And many people are like, oh, no, God won't release you from that marriage. You got to stay with him. But God released me from that marriage, and I divorced him. And God made a way. And then I met my daughter's dad. And that's where another story unfolds. God has taught me a lot through both of those. And taught me through the Bible and scriptures. And my children see it and everything. And through the young Tara, and now through who I am now, he's taught me who I am in him. And it's how I became the mom to 2 7-year-olds, and how I raised my 20-year-old son, 21-year-old. I want to say 20-year-old, but he just turned 21. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. So in that first relationship, when you had your son, how difficult was it, or how was it? I don't even want to say difficult, but how was it raising your son in that type of atmosphere? I know that your faith in God and your spirituality, yes, you had that, but what was it like just raising a son?
It was difficult. I hid the addiction of my son's father from him because I never wanted him to think badly of my of his father, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the older he got, he caught on to the fact that his father had an addiction problem. As most kids do find out eventually that their parent has an addiction problem. I never realized that his dad had an addiction problem until we got further on into the relationship. And when he was clean, he was never abusive. But when he was high on drugs, he was abusive. And I can remember when I finally filed the restraining order, that was my freedom. And the judge issued a restraining order for the entire year. And that's when I was able to get the divorce. And it was you know, I listened to the lies of him, because that's what many, I follow Patrick Weaver Ministries, and he is awesome, because many, some Christians and some church people will say, no, you need to stay in the marriage. You need to pray for the marriage. I'm sorry. And if it's okay, I will say, if you are being abused, get out. Because
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, they will not change. And in the Bible, yes, adultery is one, but so is abuse. Because I've known women who have been, and even men too, but women who have died from being abused. And if I would have stayed in that marriage, I would have been dead. And I'm just so thankful that I got out, that God made a way. And he did, he made a way, and he provided for me even when I left him, because I needed a van fixed. And I remember one day it was snowing, and I said, you know, because in the Bible he says he's a husband to the widowers, and a father to the fatherless. And even though I wasn't a widower, you know, I still needed him to be my husband. And I said, you said you were my husband, and I need my van fixed. And, you know, but he wants us to talk to him like, you know, to be real with him.
Absolutely.
And I needed my van fixed. And I got
Absolutely.
home, and my son was like 11 or 12 years old at the time. And I got a call from the church I was going to. And the pastor said, we have a mechanic in the church, and he's going to fix your car. And they fixed my van for free. I kid you not. And, but that's how God worked. And, you know, I didn't need to pray this long, lengthy prayer. I didn't need to say, you know, because he knew what I needed. I didn't need to quote scripture or anything, but that's how he worked.
Yes.
So, but he knew my need.
It is amazing how that works. I mean, you don't, and you're so right. You don't have to do this long, drawn out, you know, wordy prayer. He just wants us to be real with him, with our emotions and with our feelings. He says, cast your cares on me.
Right.
Because I care about you. And he absolutely shows us that. I love that. That is amazing.
Exactly.
All right. So fast forward now, you've gone through that, you've gotten released from that. And now you're meeting your daughter's dad.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
So I met my daughter's dad, and everything went well. I knew, you know, we both knew that that he was the one for me. He knew that I was the one for him. We got married. We had our daughter. I knew she was a girl when I was pregnant with her at 4 weeks. Had her name picked out, Hannah Grace. She was born September 3rd. And then fast forward to August of 2019, his brother dies on my birthday, August 12th of 2019.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I was like, wow, okay. And we're driving up to New York for the funeral. And I had this feeling that I was pregnant, but I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, you know, there's no possible way I could be pregnant. I mean, I'm like almost 40. I think I was 40. I wasn't sure. The funeral was on his birthday, which was on August 18th. Sure enough, I was pregnant. I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. All right. So we get back to North Carolina. All is going well with the pregnancy. Got to hear the heartbeat. But I love how God, I call him my father. I love how he prepares you for things. Because backtrack to my daughter, he prepared me for when she was going to be born. I woke up one morning and I said, she's going to be born on September 3rd, which was my daughter's dad's mom's birthday. She's no longer alive. And he was silent, but he never told me that was his mom's birthday. But I love how he prepares you for things. So I go into the doctor for a check for, you know, the normal routine new mom checkup. And I noticed my son's heartbeat was very low. It was like 130 something. And the doctor didn't seem worried. But as a mom, having had children, I knew something was wrong. And Josiah's due date would have been May 5th, but because I had C-sections, they would have taken him early. So he would have actually been born in April of 2020. Gotcha. And I knew something was off, and God was preparing me. You're not going to have him. You're not going to have him. And I kept telling my husband at the time, we're not going to meet Josiah. His name would have been Josiah Andre. And my husband at the time kept saying, we're going to meet him. He's going to be born. You're going to get to hold Josiah. And I was like, no, I'm not going to meet him. Morning sickness is hitting me bad. I mean, I was so sick with Josiah. I was 10 weeks pregnant with Josiah, October 7th. And I go to the doctor for a regular checkup. And what should have been a normal checkup turned into a mama's worst nightmare. Doctor goes in to listen to the heartbeat, and she gets the ultrasound tech. And I knew at that point, something's not right. And I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, I'll be back. Comes in with the ultrasound tech. Ultrasound tech brings the ultrasound, and ultrasound tech said, I'm sorry, there's no more heartbeat. I broke down crying. And I'm like, tell me there's a mistake, you know? And I'm just like praying to God, bring my baby back to life. Bring my baby back to life. That same day, the little boy that I've been his babysitter to since he was 14 months old was going to turn 4 at the end of the month. I posted on Facebook and I said, I didn't get into anything yet. I just said, I need some prayer. Mm-hmm. The little boy who I was his babysitter for ever since he was 14 months old, his mom texted me and he said, is everything okay with the baby? And I said, no, I lost a baby. His heart stopped. And she said, she waited for about 5 minutes and she said, I hate to ask you this, but I'm officially homeless. Can you take care of him for a couple days? I've been told that not many mothers could have done what I did. But that little boy's been in my life since he was 14 months old. A grieving mom said yes. A couple days turned into a couple weeks. On October 15th, which is also infant pregnancy loss day and everything, I also had my D&E done to remove my precious baby. That's when it became surreal that I lost my baby. Come to find out, I lost him due to trisomy 22, which is a rare genetic disorder. For a while, I blamed myself, thinking, could I have done something differently? But the doctor said that he would not have made it past the first trimester. For fast forward to the little boy, I've adopted him. So he's still in my life. And I asked God, you know, back to my daughter's dad. We ended up divorcing during COVID because the death of his brother and the loss of the baby, it was too much and everything. And I asked God, what, you know, what is going on? During that time, he had taught me so much. One of the things he had taught me was Jeremiah 29:11. And that says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. And so many people take that out of context. They think, oh, he's going to give me wealth, or he's going to prosper my life and everything else. But if you look at it, it was really written for the Israelites because they were in slavery, right? And that scripture is written to people who are going through stuff. It's a promise from God that he is in control. It's when things are out of control and it's looking bleak. And you can't get much bleaker when you've lost your baby. You have a little boy in your life who has lost his parents because they've abandoned him. You're going through a divorce and you're going, my God, where are you? And he's going, I'm here, daughter. I'm in control. Even though it doesn't look like it, I'm in control.
Yes.
And then another one is Proverbs 3-5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. And during that time of COVID, I lost my job because they were letting teacher assistants go. And I'm like, what? What else do you want to do, me, God? But he wasn't doing it. He was causing me to step out in faith, because he goes, I want you to be a teacher now, because you graduated with your bachelor's degree while you were losing your baby, and you graduated with a 3.25 GPA. Not only that, but I just graduated with my master's degree in elementary education, and I'm now a kindergarten teacher. Do you see how God directs my path and all of this?
I love it. I love it.
And then another one he gave me was Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose.
Yes.
And I'm like, where is the good in this? And I kept asking him, where is the good in this? I lost my baby. How is this good, God? And this boy was abandoned by his father, and my little girl is traumatized because she watched him be abandoned by his father, and she hardly sees her dad. But let me tell you where the good is in this. And I'm going to tell you. Because this little boy needed a mama. And guess who stepped up to the plate? I did. And I lost my baby, who was a boy. And though he can't replace my baby, because nobody can, I needed a son. We both needed each other. And so in a way, God has healed both of us. And now this little boy calls me mommy. And I know I'll never replace his mom, just like he can never replace my Josiah. But this is how God works things to the good.
Yes, I love
God's plan is still good. Even though it doesn't make sense to us, it is still good. And we may not understand it in the beginning, but we understand it in the end.
Yes, that is absolutely beautiful. And I I like you brought that scripture up about Jeremiah 29:11, that I know the plans that I have for you. We can plan all day long. We can say what we want to do. We can plan it out how we see it in our minds. But God's plan is always better than our plans. And
yes,
he knew what was going to happen to you. He knew that you were going to lose Josiah, but you were always going to keep Josiah in your heart. But this little boy needed a home. He knew that his mother was going to abandon him and was going to leave him. What better person, what better way to provide for this little boy, and then also help you to heal in the process, help you be the mother to a son that you wanted at the beginning anyway. So it's amazing how he blows our minds. It is like this is you can never underestimate God. You can never say that, oh, he didn't do the way I wanted it. Well, maybe the way you wanted it wasn't the best way for you. Because at the end of the day, like you said, he told you it wasn't about you. It was ultimately about this little boy needing a home. So, oh my gosh, I'm just over here like, Love it. Listen, okay, so now that you have this little boy, you've started your family, you've gotten your family together. What was your thought process in that moment? Like, how are you feeling?
After God had showed me everything, like in the beginning, I was just like grieving and hurting and everything. But after God showed me everything, and even now, I just continue to trust him and continue to let him direct my path. Some days I'm just like, okay, God, what next? What else do you have for me? Even though it doesn't make sense, even though I may not like it, even though it doesn't feel good, I'm going to continue to trust you. Because I know that your ways are good, that you're going to take care of my family and me. And that's the way, that's the way he has taught me. I may worry because that's my flesh, but then I'm going to come back to him and go, okay, God, this is what you've done for me. This is, you're in control. I'm not in control. And that's what trusting is. Trusting is about trusting him with all of my heart. And I've got to remember that he's in control and I'm not, that he's at complete work here. I'm not at complete work and I've got to give it all to him. I've just got to surrender it all to him and go, here, you take the wheel. I'm not going to drive anymore. I quit. So yeah. And it's just, like I've got 2 7-year-olds and I get asked all the time, how far apart are they? And I'm like, 54 days apart. They're 54 days apart. So it's like raising twins with those two. Seriously. It's like raising twins with those two.
Oh my. Okay. So what is their relationship like? Like, I know that does she understand? Does your daughter understand that he's not necessarily her brother, but that's my brother?
Now they call each other brother and sister. But in the beginning, I watched, they were best friends in the beginning. And then when I took custody of him, I watched their relationship go from best friend to brother and sister. And it was just amazing how that relationship went. And now they just are inseparable. And they fight like siblings. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they're siblings.
I have 2 sisters and my oldest sister is 9 years older than me. And my younger sister is 11 months younger than me. And my sister that's 11 months younger than me, we fought like my 2 7-year-olds. And I'm just like, oh gosh, I remember those days. Oh Lord, you're punishing me. It's what I did to my mom. Oh my gosh. So yeah. And I'm like, calling my mom up. I am so sorry, Mom. This is what I did to you. And, and of course my son was basically an only child till he was 13. And, so, and then of course, when I had found out I was pregnant with Josiah, he would have been 18. And so of course he was like, not again. And of course, then when I, got, Aaron, when he was 4, he was like, another one. So yeah, I was like, oh my. So but he, he loves us too. He loves being an older brother. He plays Fortnite with them. He also torments them being the older brother. So yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, we are going to take a short break. All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope that you had an amazing time watching those sweet sponsors. Again, if you want to be a part of the sponsorship package and you want to see your event or your business logo in the break time commercial, let us know and we can get you in there. All right, Miss Tara. So, oh my goodness, your story. I'm really trying to keep myself together here. So we're going to continue with this because I love your spirit. I love your faith. Your faith is absolutely amazing. It is so strong how you can still believe and still trust in God in these moments. So, with all of this going on, and now that you've got your son, now that your daughter, they have an amazing relationship. And then, of course, your older son is adjusting.
Yes.
What is your thought process and how is your faith? How has it strengthened in this moment?
Well, my thought process is that I've learned that family doesn't have to be blood, that it can be, it doesn't have to be DNA. And that little boy has taught me that. God has taught me that. My faith has strengthened, and that I can trust God more and knowing that he's in control. I used to, I always knew that he was in control, if that makes sense. But since 2019, through COVID, through everything else, I've learned that he is definitely in control. Because you can't, when a mom loses a baby and adopts a child and then loses a job on top of that, and watches God move in her life each and every time, and then and that's just not the first time he's moved in my life. There's just no way that God is just not in control. And during that time when I lost Josiah, I didn't know how I was going to provide Christmas for my two little ones, and they were 4 at the time. And somebody entered my name into Hope Match, and they provided Christmas for my children and me. And I had never received Christmas presents for myself, but they had heard that I was always blessing people and single mothers, because I had been a single mom, but they entered my name, and we got Christmas presents for not only my children, my oldest son, who was still 17 at the time, but I got Christmas presents for myself. And I felt like a queen, because I was like, oh my gosh. It was just amazing, because I had never had Christmas presents for myself before. So I just thought that was so neat. And the lady I had spoken with through Hope Match, this is in Charlotte, an organization, she was speaking to me over the phone, and she said, I had told her that I had lost a baby in October of 2019, and I made her cry because she had gone through 4 miscarriages. And she said this is the toughest phone call that she had ever had to make and talk to, because she could relate to my story. And the reason why it was such a difficult year is because I had missed work due to the miscarriage and the surgery. During that time, I couldn't pay an electric bill, and didn't know what to do. And a lady who I had provided babysitting for free, because she was a single mom and I knew what it was like, she paid my entire electric bill. And I was like, but it's like I had seen how God had provided during that time, and he will show you, he will remind you of what he had done, going, this is how I provided. Now stop worrying, stop doing this, and that's how he had strengthened my faith, and has told me, trust me, trust me, trust me. Stop worrying, trust me, I've got you, I am in control. And that's why I shared those scriptures because it's about him being in control. We're not in control. He is in control of every situation that we go through. And it's just amazing, even down to, every situation that we go through.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. I just, it amazes me how he moves. It amazes me that he moves through people that you would have never expected. They it's like they come out of the woodwork. They just come out of nowhere, literally. And I to hear the story that, you guys got a Christmas that you weren't even looking for, that your entire electricity bill was paid. You cannot tell me what it cannot and will not do.
I know. I was like, all right.
And and you are so right when you say, trust him. Even when it doesn't look like your ends are going to meet, trust him. Even when it looks like it's not going to work out in your favor, trust him. He will blow your mind every single time. Every single time. And it never gets old. And you would think, you hear stories like this, or you would hear how good God is, that you would get tired of hearing it. No, absolutely not. I love these type of stories because it motivates, it inspires, it pushes people to keep going, because they know that God is going to be with them no matter what. They know that he's going to provide. Jehovah Jireh, he is our
he says he is our provider. Yes, he is.
He's never disappointed. He's never shown me that he was a lie. He's never shown me that he wasn't going to take care of me. Now, it may not have happened the way that I wanted it to, because in our minds, we think, oh, well, it's supposed to go like this, and we're going to have this over here and that over there. But God is like, you're shortchanging yourself. That's how I look at what he says to us. It's like, no, you deserve so much more. I'm going to give you more because you're my child and you love me, you trust me, you believe in me. So let me show you something. And it's just kind of like, that's for me. Now you are where you are. Your faith is absolutely phenomenal. What are you in any organizations, or are you helping? What church do you belong to? Like, where can people reach out to you to help with single moms and those that have rainbow babies?
I attend 420 Fire. So that's where I attend. It's in Kannapolis, and I like to help out with crisis assistance ministries. And I also help out with the Salvation Army. And I still love to bless single moms. Sometimes I do it anonymously, especially like if there's a single mom at my job. I'll do it anonymously during Mother's Day, just because I don't like to take the credit for it.
Oh, sure. Yes.
I'll do like a rose or something, and then a gift card, just because I think that's very important that single moms get something for Mother's Day. And then, but I, think that that's very important for something for, because 1 in 4 women lose a baby, and not many churches have that support, recognize that. Whether it's due to miscarriage, SIDS, something. 1 in 4 women will lose a baby, and they don't talk about it. They will not talk about it. And that was very difficult for me when I lost Josiah, because I had no one to talk to, really. No, actually, in all honesty, I had no one to talk to. And they think that you should get over the grief of losing a baby. And one thing I learned was that when mothers lose their children, and yes, Josiah was my baby. He is my child. He is my baby. He wasn't just a broken bone. He was a piece of my heart. And now a piece of my heart is gone, and I will heal, just not in the way the world wants me to. And that's the one thing that mothers have to learn, and that other people have to learn, that when we experience child loss, any form of child loss, that we will grieve. Whether it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, grief isn't the same for everyone. It just isn't. And child loss looks completely different than somebody losing a grandparent. It really is. And it's not to say that a person who's lost a grandparent, it's not to minimize that. It just, child loss looks completely different than somebody who's lost a grandparent, because that mother has carried their child for 9 months versus somebody who's lost a grandparent. It's that bond. It's that they've heard their heartbeat, they've carried their child, they've nursed that child, and you can't get that child back, and you can't hear that heartbeat. You just have those memories to hold on to, so yeah. And we need more support groups, more grief. There's Kindermourn, but that's for siblings and stuff like that. And my daughter grieved for the longest time, and she still does. Occasionally she'll tell her twin brother, that's what we call him, I wish you weren't my brother. I wish I had Josiah back. But that's, when they get mad at each other, I'm like, Hannah, that's not nice. But she says it out of anger. But that's also her grieving, because she wanted to be a big sister. And even though she's older by 54 days, she was excited to be an older sister, to have that baby, because she would have been 4 years older than the baby. So she, in a way, still grieved. She experienced trauma at the loss of the baby. So there needs to be some more support groups and churches for mothers who have lost babies, and even children and stuff like that. There needs to be, and it just seems to be the stigma around miscarriages and child loss, and I'm trying to figure out a way to change that. So yeah.
Yes, and I can see that blowing up into something that is so big, so massive, because there are a lot of women out there that don't talk about it, because not only because they don't have it, but they internalize that hurt, they internalize that pain, and then it comes across in other areas of their lives, and they really don't realize that it's affecting their jobs, their marriage, their relationships with their friends. But to be able to have that escape, to have that avenue where they can talk about what they've been internalizing and what they've been grieving, and to really grieve properly, because that's really all it is. You had some are able to have funerals, of course, for the children that were physically here, but those that had miscarriages, it's like you had a death and you didn't get to mourn, you didn't get to celebrate that life, because it wasn't necessarily a life, but it was a life to you. So being able to have a quote unquote funeral for you because of that child, it's still alive. It is still alive. It still breathed. It still had a heartbeat. So it was still alive, and it was still a soul. So I think that you should definitely do that. You should push that. And, the support, I'm behind you 100%. If I could get it together down here, that would be amazing, because it's something that is worldwide, that needs to spread like wildfire.
It does.
If gossip can spread, we should have support groups for women who have lost children, who have had miscarriages, who have had to deal with that in any form or any circumstance. We need that support group. So absolutely, I support it 100%. And those of you viewers, if you want to help, if you want to support, if you want to donate, whatever you need to do, make sure you get in contact with Tara and let her know, hey, I'm with you 100%. What do you need from me? Let's get these organizations together. Let's get everybody on board, because in all the churches, there's no reason why the churches shouldn't start first. We should be leading
right.
this.
Right. We should.
We are the body of Christ. And if we're not taking care of each other, what are we doing this for? So
exactly.
I agree with you on that. Let's get it together. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. So last question. And this is the question that I ask all of my guests, everybody that I interview. What advice would you give to a mom that has lost their baby, whether it was a miscarriage or, even stillborn, or, something happened in the complication after the birth? What advice would you give to them to help push them through this?
The advice that I would give to you is, one, allow yourself time to heal, because you're going to need it.
Yes.
2, give yourself grace, because you're going to need to give yourself grace. And yeah, I'm going to cry. 3, you got to lean on God and lean on your family too. 4, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve. 5, say your baby's name. I say Josiah's name. That's why you heard me throughout the interview saying my sweet Josiah's name. 6, lean on friends and family to help get you through it. And 7, if you got to go outside and cry and scream at the sky, do it. Just do it. But that's the advice I would give.
Yes. Oh, and it would relieve such a tension and such a stress to that last one. Just go out and scream, like, just let it all out. Cast your cares on the Lord, because he does.
And if I could add, don't blame yourself. Because don't blame yourself, because I blamed myself for the loss of Josiah. And even after I found out that when they did the autopsy and said it was due to trisomy 22, which wasn't my fault, I still blamed myself, going, well, if I could have done this, if I, didn't eat this, if I ate right. But mothers cannot cause trisomy 22. It is a rare genetic disorder, which is an extra chromosome, but do not blame yourself for a miscarriage, for the stillbirth, for a brain bleed. I just read a post about a sweet mama. She was 37 weeks, lost her precious baby due to a brain bleed. Oh, she should have been holding her precious little daughter, but instead she had to deliver her daughter at 37 weeks due to a brain bleed. I can't even imagine. 37 weeks. Just, do not blame yourself for stuff like that, because it'll tear you up. And it tore me up. And so never blame yourself. Just know that we will see our babies again, because they're up in heaven. And I know that doesn't help. And that's, but those are the things that I've said that will help you get through it. And just take your time and heal. And because you're going to need it. You're going to need everything that I've said to get you through the loss of your precious little one. And, grieving takes time, because it's been since 2019 since I've lost my Josiah, and I still grieve. And, I lost him October 7th, and it's October 7th comes and I'm just like a mess. And then Christmas, because he should be here. He's not. Come April, he should have been born, so those times are tough. It does get better within time, but yeah.
Yes. And nobody can tell you how to grieve and how long
Right.
to grieve.
Exactly.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I think people, they get caught up in what the world wants and how the world wants you to grieve. Oh, get over it. It was years ago. It was however long ago. No, you cannot possibly understand what that mother is going through. So let her grieve the way she needs to grieve. Let her deal with it the way that she needs to deal with it, and just pray for her. Right. I think a lot of times if we just stop for a moment and just say a prayer, hug that woman,
right?
Let her know that everything is going to be all right, that God still loves her, that she is still beautiful, and that she still has a purpose in this world. And a lot of times those words will wipe out whatever emotion that they're going through at that moment, and then it'll get them back on track. So I love that you said that. Thank you so much for your
You're very welcome.
Your story. I really pray. I really do pray. And I hope that you get this together for I'm not going to say single mothers. I'm just going to say women, the women that are dealing with this, because even those that are married, they've dealt with this too. And it's it is a taboo topic. Nobody really is talking about it like they should. So get that together, get that organization together. Let me know when you've got it together, and I will blast it. I will blast it all over the place.
I will.
Because we definitely need to partner. And as the body of Christ, we got to come together and we got to do this. This is a mandate. This is a challenge. So
I will.
Absolutely do it. Listen, again, those of you that are watching, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, listen, get with her, find out what it is that you need, find out how to support, because even if it's just a word of encouragement, if it's $1,000, if it's $10, if it's blankets, if it's whatever God puts on your heart to give to this, because this is a ministry. And God put that on your heart for a reason. And there's so much, oh my goodness, there's so much that's going to come out of this. I'm not going to preach and I'm not going to prophesy. There's so much behind this. Don't give up on this.
I won't.
This is something that God has placed on you to do. So yeah, you got this, girl. You got this. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. Guys, listen, I know that this one was a good one. I know it was. Put it in the comments, subscribe, share this with your family and friends, share this with the woman that you know is going through this and that needs a little bit of encouragement, because we all do. So as we end this show, Tara, is there anything else that you want to say to the people that are watching?
Just continue to trust God and let him direct your path. And you guys have a blessed night.
Amen. I love it. All right, guys. So that is the end of our show. Listen, join us. Come back on next Friday. We have another amazing story. So I love y'all. Deuces.